Alright, so welcome back gentlemen to this new tutorial. So now I'd like to show you how can we use multiple checkboxes to do something in PHP. So for example, if we check the second one, the car number 2 Audi, and submit, you can see that your car is Audi. So we're gonna be displaying or doing something in PHP based on each one of these checkboxes. Alright, so let's get down to it. Alright, so let's start first by adding multiple inputs. So input, like this, the type of it is gonna be checkbox. Alright, so I'm gonna just copy everything. Just this line, copy it and get back and paste it, for example, 3 times. So if we do save and we go over here, you can see that we have 3 checkboxes. So what I'd like to do is to add some text in front of them. So let's add a paragraph and let's call it checkbox number 1. Can just copy this one and let's repeat the same process for all of them like this, and finally over here. Alright, so let's save that, and over here I'm going to do 2 and 3. Saved to refresh. As you can see, we got checkbox number 1, checkbox number 2, and checkbox number 3. Also at the end, I'd like to add the submit button. So let's add another input. The type of it is going to be submit. So let's save and let's do refresh over here. As you can see, we got it. So I'd like to add over here a break. So break, let's duplicate that twice. Alright, so let's save the refresh. As you can see, we got our submit button down below. Alright, so now what we need to do is, so basically if we check checkbox number 2 and submit query, we want to do something specific to that checkbox. So for example, let's add some value over here, value to each one. Let's call this one, the first checkbox, let's call it Mercedes-Benz or something like that, just cars. And the second one is gonna be the Audi, and for the third parameter, third value, it's gonna be BMW. So each one of these checkboxes contain a car. So once we, for example, if we check number 1, it's gonna give us this car is Mercedes-Benz. Alright, so let's do that, but first we need to add a form that contains everything. So let's add a form. So the second part of the form is gonna be down below. I can just put it over here because we're going to be using the post method. So over here, let's add a method. It's gonna be post, just like this. Also, let me just move these just a tad forward, just like this. Alright, so this is where the real fun gets started. I'm gonna just add a PHP tag down below, just like this. Also, we can close it. And over here, what I'd like to do is to start with an isStat. So it's gonna be a condition to check which one of these. So basically, the first condition is gonna check if any of these checkboxes is selected or not. So if, let's open that parenthesis. Let's call isSet. So the variable it's going to be put in over here is the post. So since we're going to be using a post method, so $sign, and let's write post like this. And I'd like to add these square brackets, and inside them we can add quotation marks, and we can add the checkbox. So which checkbox? Just checkbox. But also we forgot something really important over here, which is the name. So basically WordPress doesn't or PHP doesn't recognize, so all these inputs or checkboxes are the same, so we need to identify them. So for that, I'm going to be adding over here, for example, check. Let's add these square brackets like this, and I'm going to just copy that and paste it all over our checkboxes. Over here, I'm going to just remove this one and keep it just like that, check. So it's going to be saved is in an array. So if is set, let's add over here this one, and we can echo something, echo a checkbox is selected. So let me save that up and let's do a quick check. So I'm gonna save this one and let's select the checkbox number 1 and let's save. As you can see, a checkbox is selected, so but it doesn't know which one is selected. So we need to identify that. So for that, we need to make a loop, or a function loop, or loop. Let's add a while loop like this, and inside it we need to put so I'm gonna start with the count. I know this method is a little bit weird, but this is the way I do my work. So I'm gonna be taking this one's gonna be an array. So this post $sign check, it's gonna be an array that contains all of these values. So in my case over here, I'm gonna just count the number of it's gonna be 3, so the number of checkbox that we got, I'm gonna just put it inside over here. Also at the top, let me add a variable, it's gonna be e. So just bear with me over here, let's set it to 0. So while this number over here is bigger than, it's gonna be bigger than e, So do the following, which is, for example, echo. So it's gonna be post check. Which one? Let's start, for example, with the first one. So 0 over here means the first one, this value. The second one, if we set over here 1, it's gonna be this one, and 2 is the BMW. So let me just close that up, and let me just check. Also, we must stop our loop, so let's increment our e just like this. Alright, so let's do another check over here. I'm gonna just refresh this one, and for example, let's select the first checkbox. As you can see, a checkbox is selected, Mercedes. So it's gonna keep printing Mercedes because we set this one to 0, which is the first value. So I'm gonna just replace it by e, because e is gonna be dynamic variable. It's gonna keep changing based on each checkbox. So let's save that up, and I'm gonna do another refresh over here. So for example, we need the BMW, so we can check this one and submit query. As you can see, a checkbox is selected, the BMW. You can just remove this text. So your car is something like this. You can do that, but let's just do refresh. So checkbox number 2, submit queries. Your car is the Audi. As you can see, we handled multiple checkboxes in PHP and WordPress. So from here, you can, instead of doing this, we can insert this value to the database. Basically, you can do a lot of this. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the coming tutorial. Take care.